Hello and welcome to Feel Good Alcohol Free. I'm Lindsay Henneke, your host and founder of Feel Good AF, a program designed to help women change their thinking about alcohol and start believing they can accomplish anything and live their dream life because they can. And you can too. Let's get into a difficult yet extremely insightful topic today: the early morning wake up call you didn't ask for. If you're waking up at 3 a.m., sick to your stomach with feelings of guilt and shame about your life choices, this episode is for you. All right, let's paint the picture. You jolt awake, your heart's pounding, your brain already mid-spiral, your mouth is dry, your skin feels clammy, and you swear you can hear your own pulse. The only thought louder than the anxiety screaming in your head is the shame creeping in. It's whispering, "Why do I keep doing this to myself?" I know this wake-up call all too well. Every single night, like clockwork, my eyes would snap open at 3 a.m. and I'd feel this unbearable tightness in my brain, almost like my skull was physically rejecting the alcohol. The shame would hit me instantly. Like, how will I get through another day like this? I already knew what came next. I'd reach for the coconut water and Advil I had proactively left on my nightstand because, let's be honest, I knew this wake-up call was coming. It was always coming. The night before didn't always look the same, but it usually ended in the same. Too many drinks after work with my colleagues, another few drinks at home, a quiet night on the couch with my bottle of wine and scrolling on my phone when my husband was out of town. At some point, I'd get into bed and wait for that unwanted wake-up call at 3 a.m. And rock bottom for me? It wasn't just the mental spiral. The pain became physical. I woke up one morning with this excruciating upper neck pain, like right at the base of my skull. The occipital bone, by the way, I looked it up. It felt like my head was too heavy for my neck to support, like someone had jammed some metal rod into the base of my skull. I'd rotate my head, I'd stretch, I'd blame my pillow, blame my posture, blame stress, because obviously it couldn't be because of the alcohol, right? No way. It must be dehydration, or maybe I was grinding my teeth. Maybe it was just me getting older. Yeah, let's go with that. Meanwhile, my body was waving a giant red flag, and I was over here gaslighting myself like it's probably just hormonal shifts, maybe menopause, who knows? Then there was the next morning routine I could count on. Fast food drive-through before work, because cooking or preparing a healthy breakfast felt about as possible as running a marathon. But sure, tell yourself it's just a fluke. Maybe your pillow's too soft. Maybe it's the weather, or maybe, just maybe, it's the alcohol. So let's talk about it. Why this happens. We're going to get into some of the science behind this 3 a.m. wake up. All right, let's break it down. The 3 a.m. wake up call. First, it's not random. Your body is going through a full-blown crisis every single night because of alcohol. So what's actually going on here? Why does alcohol have this magical ability to wake you up at the worst possible time, leaving you feeling like you got hit by a truck? Here's the deal. Alcohol does not help you sleep. It sedates you. And sedation is not sleep. It messes with your natural sleep cycles. So even though you might conk out quickly after a drink or 5 drinks, your body isn't actually resting. It's just temporarily unconscious. Then around 3 a.m., your body decides it's had enough. Your blood sugar crashes, cortisol and adrenaline spike, and bam, you're awake. Heart pounding, sweating, anxious as hell, wondering why you can't just be a normal person who can drink and sleep like everyone else. And I get it. This is frustrating. You just wanted a glass of wine to relax. You weren't signing up for a full body stress response in the middle of the night. But once you learn this, you cannot unlearn it. Alcohol is straight up hijacking your nervous system, and no amount of lavender pillow spray is going to fix that. So here's where the real BS from alcohol comes in. This isn't just a bad night. The sleep deprivation builds up. It screws with your ability to think clearly, handle stress, and function like a human. And I want you to guess what's happening when you're exhausted. You crave more alcohol to wind down the next night. And this cycle just keeps going. Okay, so let's talk about today 4 reasons why you keep waking up at 3 a.m. I know you really wanted to hear 4 reasons, so that's what we're here for. Alcohol wrecks your sleep cycles. You think that alcohol helps you relax. In reality, it's destroying the quality of your sleep. It sedates you, sure, but sedation is not the same as rest. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep, which is the phase that helps you process emotions, consolidate memories, and wake up feeling like you're an actual human. No REM sleep equals waking up exhausted, moody, and mentally foggy. Okay, the second item here is the blood sugar crash. Alcohol is like a sneaky little liar. It spikes your blood sugar when you drink, and then when it wears off, your blood sugar tanks. This crash triggers a surge of adrenaline and cortisol. Hello, 3 a.m. wake up with a side of cold sweats and full body anxiety. Okay, you know that feeling of your heart racing out of nowhere? That's not just anxiety. It's your nervous system freaking out because of what alcohol did hours earlier. Okay, number 3. Cortisol and adrenaline, your body's alarm system. Normally, cortisol follows a rhythm, rising gently in the morning to wake you up. But when you drink, that rhythm gets trashed. Instead of a slow morning rise, your body dumps cortisol into your system in the middle of the night, jolting you awake like you just heard a car alarm go off in your bedroom. So, number 4, the false sleep effect. If you think passing out on the couch equals a great night's sleep, I'm going to need you to think again. Alcohol knocks you out, but it also fragments your sleep, meaning you wake up multiple times without even realizing it. The result of this is you wake up feeling like you barely slept at all because, well, you didn't. So, if you've been telling yourself that drinking helps you sleep, I know this may not be an easy thing to confront. In fact, I know how much this sucks. It's confusing, it's exhausting, and it feels really unfair. While it may help you fall asleep, you are actually getting anything but a good night's rest when you are relying on alcohol to get you there. I know it doesn't feel good to hear that the thing you've been doing to help yourself is actually harming you, but it is important to start listening to what your body is trying to tell you. And now that you know the truth, like I've said many times before, you can't unhear it. You have to decide what to do with this knowledge. But for now, let's talk about how this messes with your life beyond just feeling tired, because it really messes with your life. Okay, let's talk about the long game. This isn't just about a few bad nights. It's about how alcohol-induced sleep deprivation actually messes with everything. Poor decision-making, for starters. Sleep debt makes you impulsive and unable to think clearly. Guess what that means? More bad choices. More screw it moments where you reach for another drink. Okay, the next thing, irritability and mood swings. Alcohol disrupts REM sleep, which means you're not processing emotions properly. So do you ever wake up irrationally anxious after drinking? Yeah, this is why. The next, you're running on fumes. You wake up exhausted, so you guzzle caffeine. Caffeine fuels anxiety. Anxiety leads to stress. Stress makes you crave alcohol. And so the cycle continues. So for me, it got so bad that I couldn't even consider a healthy breakfast. Nowadays, obviously, you'll catch me drinking my morning protein smoothie or my newly discovered moringa. But no joke, I'd hit the fast food drive-thru every morning because I needed that like greasy, heavy food just to feel normal. And by normal, I mean not as hungover. And let's not forget the physical pain. The upper neck and skull pain I woke up with was excruciating. My body was screaming at me and I ignored it. I justified it with a million other things. So it's easy to think, okay, so I wake up at 3 a.m. Annoying, but not a big deal. But let's be real here. This isn't just about missing a few hours of sleep. It's about how alcohol is running your entire life in the background. It's screwing with your body, your mind, and your ability to function like an actual human being. The second my alarm went off, I was already behind. Snooze button? Hit it 5 times. Getting out of bed? Pure dread. I was exhausted. I was puffy. I was sluggish. I was basically rolling into the day like a zombie in last night's regrets. There was no morning routine, no healthy start, no setting the tone for a productive day. And like I mentioned before, it was straight to the drive-thru because cooking something nutritious literally felt laughable. I was dependent on caffeine just to feel like I could function. And work? My God. I wasn't showing up. Not really. I was short-tempered. I would snap at coworkers for no reason. And let's be honest, I was kind of mean. I was mean. Irritable, resentful, rolling my eyes at coworkers, at everything, convinced that everyone around me was the problem. But of course, it wasn't me. It was them, right? Spoiler, it was me. Then there was my mood. Absolute trash. My confidence was at an all-time low. I'd spend my energy ruminating over everything that wasn't going my way, stewing in negativity, convinced that life was just harder for me than it was other people. And never, not once did I consider that maybe my drinking was the common denominator in all of my struggles. Nope. Instead, I blamed stress. I blamed my job. I blamed the weather, my hormones, my husband breathing too loudly, you name it. I pointed the finger at it. Now, I wasn't just exhausted though. I was trapped in a cycle of trying to fix it. More coffee, more sugar, a workout to sweat it out, expensive sleep supplements that I desperately hoped would cancel out the alcohol. And the ultimate lie, I used to tell myself this one all the time. I'll go to bed early tonight and catch up on sleep. I never did because by 5 p.m., my brain had fully justified another reason why I deserved another drink, and the whole cycle started over again. It took me so long to admit alcohol was actually the problem. There wasn't one big dramatic moment, just a slow buildup of realizing that my life felt dreadful and exhausting and like I was constantly pushing a big boulder uphill. And the second I stopped making excuses and actually looked a little inward and became honest with myself, that's when everything changed. So if any of this sounds uncomfortably familiar, if you're blaming everything except for alcohol for why you feel like garbage every day, just sit with that for a second. You're not broken, my beautiful friend. You're not weak. You're just stuck in a loop. And the good news is you can get out of it. All right. We're going to talk about, let's shift our mood here because that was pretty low, huh? All right. We're going to talk about what to do instead. Some tactical takeaways. All right. So you wake up at 3 a.m. again. You swear again that you're done. And then by 5 p.m., you're fully back in the I deserve it mindset. So I want you to listen up. I get it. Because when you're trying to break the cycle, your brain is going to fight you. And hard. It will start bartering with you like a toddler negotiating bedtime. You've been good all week. 1 glass won't hurt. Just switch to wine instead of liquor. That's healthier, right? Maybe the problem isn't alcohol. Maybe it's your magnesium levels. Have you tried a supplement? Because clearly the answer must be more supplements and not less alcohol. Okay, here's the blatant truth. The only way to stop the 3 a.m. wake up call is to change the entire routine leading up to it. And I'm going to tell you like exactly what this looked like for me because it wasn't cute. Like it wasn't. I went to bed at 7:30 p.m. some nights. 7:30. Do you know how early that is? And not because I was suddenly some wellness guru, but because if I stayed in my kitchen or my living room past that point, I knew exactly what was going to happen. That craving was going to hit, the justifications would start to roll in, and I would cave. So I removed myself entirely. And yeah, sometimes I cried. I felt so sorry for myself. Like, wow, other people can just live their lives, and I'm here going to bed at the same time as a toddler. It felt unfair. Sometimes it felt really extreme, but it worked. And then there was the voice, the one that whispered, "You've been good, you've earned this." And that voice was so loud. Sometimes it won. But when I finally started talking about it out loud to my husband, the voice lost some of its power. I'd say, "Hey, my brain is telling me I deserve a drink right now." And just hearing myself admit it made it easier to see the trap that I was kind of walking into. So the other thing I want to talk about is fear. Because in the beginning, I said no to a lot of things. I said no to dinners. I said no to invites to events. I avoided anything that felt like a risk. And not because I was isolating, but because I was protecting my progress. If that's where you're at, it's okay. You're not weak because you can't go out to dinner or you don't feel like you can go out to dinner and not drink. You are building strength. So here's what I want you to do. If nighttime is your weak spot, get out of the danger zone. Go to bed early. Take a bath. Move your routine somewhere safe. When that "I deserve it" voice comes up, say it out loud to somebody who gets it. Call it out before it convinces you. If you need to avoid certain situations, give yourself permission. You're not missing out. You're making space for something better, something bigger. So, how do you break this little cycle? Here's where we're going to get a little practical. Number 1, interrupt the cycle. First, let's kill this myth. Your nightcap is a scam. It's not helping you sleep. It's setting you up for the 3 a.m. horror show. Start small. Swap the nightcap for an actual relaxing routine. Magnesium, herbal tea, reading, literally anything else. 2, support your body. Balance your blood sugar before bed. Protein, healthy fats, complex carbs. No more riding the sugar roller coaster. If you want to have a sweet treat, that's okay. Just do it right after your dinner. Hydrate properly. Alcohol dehydrates you, and dehydration is also going to give you the worst sleep. So create this bedtime ritual that actually works. No screens, no chaos, just signals to your body that it's safe to rest. I actually have a really good little list of things that supported my bedtime routine, and I will go ahead and link that in the show notes. What to expect when you stop drinking. The first few nights, yes, they are probably going to suck. Your sleep is probably going to feel even worse at first, but I'm telling you, stick with it because within the first 4 to 5 days, your body will start to recalibrate. It takes 4 to 5 days for any of those little withdrawal symptoms to start to dissipate. And it takes 8 days for the alcohol to be mostly out of your system. And that's when you start sleeping better. And by 2 weeks, you're going to wonder how you ever even functioned before. So the best part is once you start seeing the change, even one night of deep, restful sleep without this like 3 a.m. panic, you won't be able to unsee it. The more you prove to yourself that life without alcohol feels better than life with it, the easier this gets. Because trust me, nothing feels better than waking up and realizing, holy shit, I actually feel good today. I've actually had clients tell me, Lindsay, I don't want to have another drink because I don't want to go through that week dealing with like the withdrawal symptoms and the crappy sleep again. Like they don't want to do it again. So if you're still telling yourself alcohol helps you sleep, you are smarter than that. You know better, because this isn't just about sleep. It's about the bigger picture. It's about you feeling like yourself again, waking up with energy, having a clear mind. No more dread, no more exhaustion, no more breaking promises to yourself. I want you to pause for a minute and imagine this. You wake up not at 3 a.m., but at like, let's say 6:30, rested. Like actually rested. No anxiety spiral, no heart pounding, no instant dread, just you opening your eyes, realizing that for the first time in forever, you don't feel like you're digging yourself out of a hole. You get up, and instead of rushing straight to caffeine and carbs just to feel human, you actually have energy. You don't hate the morning. You don't hate yourself. You're just good. At work, you're present. You're not snapping at people, not counting down the minutes until 5 p.m. so you can unwind. You're focused, clear, actually engaged in your life instead of just getting through it. Your relationships shift because you're not irritable, defensive, or making excuses anymore. You're just showing up as you. And the best part of this, the longer you do this, the more you realize you never needed alcohol to feel okay. You just needed to trust yourself long enough to see what life could actually be like without it. Now listen, I know that's hard to believe when you're still in the cycle. I know that voice is telling you, but what if I can't do this? But that's actually why you need people in your corner, people who get it, who won't let you gaslight yourself into staying stuck, because you don't have to do this alone. Inside my group program, this is exactly what we practice: breaking the cycle, seeing the patterns, calling out the excuses before they pull you back in. We build routines that actually work. We rewrite the stories keeping you stuck, and we do it all together, because transformation doesn't happen in isolation. If you're tired of repeating the same 3 a.m. wake up call, if you're tired of making promises to yourself that you don't keep, it's time for you to change that. And we can do that together. All right, I've linked a way to book a free call with me. During our discovery call, you can tell me your goals, your concerns, what you want to change in your life, and we'll talk about if working together is a good fit. Because the version of you that doesn't wake up at 3 a.m. anymore, she's already waiting for you. You just have to start. Okay, so here's what to do next. If this episode hit home, click the link in the show notes and book a call with me. Let's talk. I will see you next time. And until then, sleep well. For real this time.